Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's the Flying Pig here. Sorry we're a little bit late, guys. Technical issues with my PC. It decided to shut the bed just when we were about to go live, with the OBS studio just completely crashing on me. So I had to restart and get a couple of things set back up. But we are here to do the evening news and the roundup of the United news of the day. We'll give you all the latest rundown and the goings-on, of which there is not that much, guys. But we'll get into it all in this stream. Shout out to everybody who's been waiting patiently. Thank you very much for joining, guys. Rushy, King Kenny, Philip Chapman, Elliot Manduna, Social 99, Naz786, Winston the Kane, Stephen Carr, Jay Tanky, Reaper King, No Such Done, Peter Ibate. I hope you guys are good. Say No More, Gov, Philip, STP Mitchell, King Kenny, Marco. Lots and lots of legends getting in. Already 100 legends in here. So do us a big favour at the start of this news show and smash that like button, folks. Give it a little thumbs up. That helps us out. Share it around on the social media if you want as well, and hit that subscribe button and get yourself involved and have your say. So listen, look, Manchester United are a bunch of fucking melters, guys. There's no other word for it. We have just been fanning around and dawdling around all summer long already. It's just a disgrace. I'm already sick and tired of talking about it, guys. I'm sick of talking about Frenkie de Jong. I'm sick of talking about, who Ten Hag's going to get, and if we're going to do this business, we're going to do that business. It's already depressing. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are feeling the same. It's just an absolute nightmare. We've already got 50 likes. That's amazing. Thank you, everyone, for hitting that thumbs up button. Big up yourself, Mark. Will perplex you as well. I don't think so about Ronaldo leaving Par. I think that's fake news. We talked about it a bit yesterday, but we'll cover it a bit later on. I mean, you never know if the right offer comes in, I suppose. But we've got plenty to get into in this show, so I guess let's just start off and get into it then. In regards to the De Jong situation, it's much more the same sort of situation as it was before, folks. It's a shit show. We're still negotiating with Barcelona. There is perhaps a growing belief that maybe United could get the deal done, but can we actually get the financial agreement in place? So there's also an understanding now that Barcelona have restructured things. They've sold off some assets, and they've generated some cash in some other ways. So maybe they're not so desperate in order to sell now. That is one report that we've seen, and that seems to be true, is that they've sold off certain assets, they sold off certain properties, not physical properties, but they sold some things basically, and they've got themselves a bit more money. So that is apparently what's been reported, and they're looking to recruit players again now anyway. So we'll see if they're prepared to do business with Man United for Frenkie de Jong. There was a report from The Athletic this morning that just said that United's move for Frenkie de Jong is pretty much this. In this situation, is that Barcelona insists they don't have to sell players after agreeing a financial deal, of course, and Manchester United still expect to sign de Jong in the coming weeks. The clubs are still around about 10 to 15 million euros apart. Hopefully there's going to be some announcement soon, guys, that these two clubs have reached an agreement. It's pathetic. Either they want to sell him to us or they don't, and either United are prepared to go and pay the money or we're not. And we need to find that out very, very quickly so we can move on to the next target if need be. Ten Hag slightly frustrated at the speed of deal. You're telling me he's lucky he's like Stone Cold Steve Austin and bald. Otherwise, he would have a bit of an issue. He'd be going grey right now, or he'd be pulling his hair out or something. It's lucky he's already bald, guys, that's what I'm saying, He's shining it up real nice in preparation for the start of this season, ready to stomp a mud hole on some of these fucking players' asses, I think, guys. A la the Dutch Stone Cold Steve Austin that he is. I really hope that he's going to bring, round about a change and a bit of discipline in that dressing room and start him getting, on the right track. But he must be very frustrated with just how bad the recruitment has gone so far this summer. He's come in, of course, because he's been given certain assurances about the job and what his expectations are, and, of course, what his expectations are of the club and what they're prepared to do and what sort of backing they're meant to be giving him in terms of the transfer window and the ability to bring in players and shape the squad in the way that he sees fit. And okay, he might want these players, but it seems like the recruitment team are actually incapable of executing any of these transfers, any of these deals. It's an absolute disgrace. Hey, Man United Hodge, thank you for getting in here, bro. How you doing there, my man? Hodgie, what's going on, bro? Thank you for the super chat. Let's get a Sue emoji in there. Hodgie, thank you. He says, hey, bro, I've been out drinking all night. Now, here to hang out with you and hear about our uselessness with transfers. Hey, sounds like you've been having a good night there, Hodgie, lad. Much love to you, bro. Thank you for getting in. Yeah, thank you for the Sues there for Hodgie, mate. And yeah, that's basically what it is. You just summed it up, mate. Uselessness with transfers. It's a shit show. That's really what it is. We are useless in the window at the moment anyway. Hey, Lynette Giggs, great to see you as well. John Daniels, Daryl, Henry, Nosy Bonk, all the legends getting in. Thank you for joining, guys. So Yeah, very frustrating. It's just a sense of frustration growing, really, for everybody, us, and I'm sure the manager. I'm sure Ten Hag is absolutely livid with just how poor and slow it's been with Man United trying to actually bring in players. As long as we get these players sooner or later, then it will all be fine. And I do have a bit of faith in us that we will get a lot of these players in sooner rather than later. However, we haven't got any of them yet. And so he must be a little bit worried about just like the squad that he's going to have going into preseason and ready for the start of the season. It's really not where it needs to be at all. Really, we should be getting quite a lot of players in this summer window, 4 or 5, but it's just not happening at all. Hey there, William Wallace, Supat Dini as well, Andrew Garcia, Jonathan Gallagher, Vutinator, Daryl Clark Piggott, Brian Foskett, Mark, so many legends getting in here. Do drop a like as you're getting in here, guys, and boost us up there on the old YouTube algorithm. Thank you. So, right, also, this is just a bit update from Laurie Whitwell anyway, which basically said that well-placed sources believe that Man United's move for De Jong will ultimately happen. He is Erik Ten Hag's primary objective. Amid the impasse, murmurings have begun that Ten Hag is starting to get a little frustrated. He understands United's budgetary constraints. So that's sort of where that's coming from, you know, is the it's understood that because of the slowness of Manchester United in this window, and maybe the fact that we did miss out on Darwin Núñez as well. Let's face it, that's got to be a bit of a blow. If that's one of your primary targets in the summer and you're hoping that the club that you've just come in for is able to go and get that deal done and you lose out on him to Liverpool, that's got to annoy you a little bit. And then we're looking at other options, but it's really just the word I would use at the moment. It's just cluelessness, guys. It seems we're pretty clueless in this window, and it's absolutely terrible to see. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I'd love to report there's a little bit more going on there. There isn't too much going on in regards to De Jong. I'll just cover and tell you exactly what I know about the situation at the moment. So there's that. And, you know, essentially, to repeat what we've been saying lately, you know, Frenkie is essentially wanting to continue at Barcelona. But he's sort of enjoying his vacation at the moment. He's on holiday, and he's monitoring the situation, of course. His sort of staff and his agency and that kind of thing will be dealing with it. Barcelona's management also are understood to be working, obviously, on the deal because they want to try and sell this guy. So the feeling is that they want to sell him for the right price. They want to cash in on Frenkie. And Man United seem to be in the market because Ten Hag wants to get his man and buy him. So, yeah, so it could be pretty crucial over the next few days between United and Barca to get that deal done. It's more boring chat, guys. We're not going to dwell on it too much because it's more or less the same sort of shite that we've discussed over the last couple of days, really. I mean, we're just hoping that these two can reach an agreement, and we're waiting for an official second bid here from Manchester United and for it to be knocked back or accepted by Barcelona, and we can either get this guy in and agree terms and get this guy in, or we can move on to our next target. So hopefully it'll be in the next few days, folks. And also it's understood that United are, you know, still looking at other options in the midfield as well, just in case. So, but we're understood to be around about 10 to 15 million euros apart in guaranteed money from Man United's proposal with Barcelona's demands for Frenkie de Jong. They're still holding out for around about 80 million euros at this moment, at least. And sources think that the move will ultimately happen at some point when the negotiations can reach an agreement. So there you go, folks. There you go. It's more shit show stuff from Manchester United. Very slow and sloppy in the transfer window. Unable to get anything wrapped up soon. But a little bit of positivity maybe in the sense that, well, it does seem like Barcelona are looking to maybe play ball and do want to sell him. And that United obviously are still trying to work on him. That's why we haven't gone for anybody else, because we're trying to get this guy in. And I guess we'll try and get him in as soon as possible and very quickly. That makes sense. If we can get the deal arranged and get it agreed, then he should hopefully be a Manchester United player pretty quickly, if he wants to come. There's still things that can fall down on this one. Hey there, Joel Glazer, what's going on? So let's ask the live chat now, seeing as we've, you know, this a couple more days have gone by. Let's just ask live chat, do you think Manchester United will buy De Jong by the end of the window, guys? Yes or no? Do you think De Jong will be a Man United player soon? Yes or no? Let me know in the vote. In the live chat. Hey there, Berber. What's going on, mate? Hope you're good tonight, dude. Legend, mate. And Stephen Carr as well. What's going on, you legends? Nice one. Yes, lots. Yes, says SG. Yes, says Adewale. No, says Mark. No, says Johnny. No, says Aaron Williams. Yes, says Alec Kuma. No, says Will Petplex. No, says Balls In. Yes, says Rushmano. No, says Pyramidski. Never, says Madhouse. Yes, says Lambert. You know what's interesting about this? The live chat, thank you everyone for voting. The Net Geek says yes, King K says yes, Deborah Taylor says no, Zaki says no. You know what's interesting about this is it's literally almost split down the middle. So I think there's some people that still think that, yeah, this deal's quite possible. And there's a lot of us that also Well, I personally am in the camp that I think we're just about signing him, guys, because I think we need him, and we're clearly working on this guy, and Ten Hag wants to get him, and he's Ten Hag's guy. So I do think we'll get him. However, there's still a lot of us that think that he's not going to come. I suppose it could fall down on the fact that he might not actually want to come. That's the sort of biggest thing, really. And then secondly, the financials behind it as well. Like, are Man United prepared to match what Barcelona want for this guy? So it's not an ideal scenario, folks. Hopefully we're working on it and getting this deal done soon, but we'll defo get him, says Eriksen. It would be very foolish and we would look like a bunch of idiots, even more so than we are, if we somehow were not able to reach an agreement with Frenkie de Jong now, especially if it goes on a little bit longer, because we will have wasted literally, 10, 11, by the time we find out about it, 10 days of the window potentially, when we could have been working on other players. And actually should be working on other players too. There's so many other options in the team that we should be looking to bring in as well. I mean, there's understood reports as well that Jurrien Timber could be set to stay at Ajax. We talked about that a bit yesterday. That's very frustrating. And that, Man United have basically been informed that he wants first-team football. And unless he's going to be guaranteed first-team football, it's more likely that he will rather stay playing for Ajax, playing in the Champions League and playing regularly, so he can maybe get in, the Netherlands set up for the World Cup, rather than maybe doing what happened to Donny van der Beek and coming over and being a bit part player and not getting any opportunities and just sort of falling by the wayside. So Jurrien Timber's a frustrating one. That should have been one that were able to get wrapped up, but sadly not able to convince him to come, or not yet anyway. There is still reports coming out as well that that deal's not dead, and that there is still interest from Manchester United to go and get the guy. Pyramid Scheme says, I can see City stealing him because of how long it's taken us. Well, Pep Guardiola's understood to have an interest, or at least an admiration of Frenkie de Jong. So you're right. I mean, crikey, it is a worry, mate. It is a worry that other teams will come sniffing around. Stephen Carr says de Jong is imperative to Ten Hag implementing his style. Spot on, Stephen Carr, yeah. This is it. He's a Ten Hag player. He knows what he's going to get from him. He also knows that he's probably developed and got even better since he's been working with him. He had a great spell when he was at Ajax, obviously, and he's developed really well since then. It's Ten Hag's dream signing to run that midfield. And somebody said it in the FIFA stream we were doing early on as well, which I thought was a really good point. Can't quite remember who it was now. Shout out to you. You know who you were. But they essentially said that, we were talking about different options in the midfield. Different players we could bring in, different midfielders, maybe an alternative to de Jong. And really, who's the best player that we could bring in this window that Ten Hag can actually build a team around and build a style around as well of the way which he wants to play? Well, it's de Jong really at the moment. I mean, yeah, Neves would be a great shout, but he hasn't got that familiarity with Ten Hag. He hasn't, he has got the Premier League experience, but he's also not played at as high a level as de Jong yet as well, if you ask me. De Jong's been sort of balling it for the Netherlands, and also, being playing in the Champions League a long time now. So he's obviously got very good high level experience, de Jong, at his age. So when you think about it, he is actually an ideal sort of player with the way he plays and that whole style of playing under that Dutch Ten Hag style, etc., and being a part of that, while trying to progress and play that type of football at United. It makes sense to have a Ten Hag type player in there who he knows what he's going to get out of, and he knows can run that midfield. And if you look at how United should hopefully be playing under Ten Hag, his Ajax team, they're a passing team. They want to pass teams off the park and cut teams open. They're a passing team. And so therefore you want to have those good ballers, those good controllers in midfield who can just control the game, dictate play. And de Jong is certainly that sort of guy. So for Ten Hag to bring him in, yeah, he wants him. It makes perfect sense for him to bring the guy in. Frenkie de Jong is world-class, as Alex claims, and he can build a team around him, as we were saying. So certain players you might be able to bring in that are good, and they're great players that we think, yeah, okay, they'll be good alternatives. But can you truly build a team around them? Like if we were going to sign, I don't know, Tielemans. Is Tielemans a player you can build a team around? Not necessarily. No, he's not at all, really. But you know what? Frenkie de Jong being that sort of, all-encompassing midfielder, that deep-line playmaker, that's somebody who's also got that relationship with Ten Hag, which is an important factor in this reasoning, is because, he can do that for Ten Hag. And Ten Hag knows it. So, yeah, it does make a lot of sense, guys, for us to do it. But who actually wants de Jong then, folks? Smash a 1 if you want de Jong. Smash a 2 if you think, no, he doesn't want us, so we don't want him. Let's move on. Let us know, because I know when I asked this question a couple of days ago, a lot of people are saying, nah, just move on now. This is getting silly, and he doesn't even want to come. So let's see. Nice one. Thank you, Nathan. He wants him. Diamond doesn't want him. Nosy Bonk says De Jong is world class. Why aren't there a line of clubs trying to buy him? Fair point. He's on big money. United have just had a big release of money in terms of wages with 6 players going off our books. Maybe it's just a case of we can actually afford quite a hefty wage boost right now on a player. Peter Abate, Matome Trevor says no. Caldinio says no. Juan De Jong in says Asher Katana. You want someone else as must play. Divish Aurora wants someone else. Legolai wants him. Kevin McConnell says no. Kane says no. Caldinio says no. Elliot Manduna wants him. Naz wants him. Phillips says no. Brian wants him. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? There's a lot of people in here that don't want Frenkie de Jong right now. I think it's maybe the biggest factor is, well, he's a lot of money, but also it's not really about the money, I don't think, for us. It seems like the negotiations are just going to take a long time, which is frustrating. You just want to get something wrapped up. But also, probably the biggest reason is, well, we know that he said he is at his dream club, that he wants to be a Barcelona player, and he's happy where he is. And the only reason he would come to United is if he is sold out from underneath Xavi and he's forced out the club. So that is the reality, guys. We're getting a player who's just like a, I don't know, would be joining us like a scab or something, you know? Oh, 793. What's going on, mate? He says, free Man City will sign him. Sickening, bro. Sickening, bro. Well, fair enough. I mean, I'm surprised there aren't 1 or 2 other clubs in for him. You know, Pep is understood to have an admiration for him, but nobody actually has put an offer in. He has quite a lot of money, though. Rajat says Frenkie de Jong is the conductor, controller, and will set the tempo. Precisely, mate. Dutch Paul Scholes vibes. Anyway, so, but it is frustrating how things are going with other signings and other deals not getting done. I mean, let's just talk about, as well, Christian Eriksen, just to give you a little update on Eriksen. I mean, not much has changed on Eriksen, so there's no point sort of dwelling on it. We know that he is, we know that he's mulling things over and that he's just taking a bit of time to make the sort of right decision, and he's pretty easy with that. But we have an update here this morning that says that Eriksen returning to Tottenham is fairly likely because, you know, they have, you know, we are understood to have made an offer, but Christian Eriksen likes London. He's quite open to staying in London. And there could be a possibility of a fight between them and Brentford as well to, you know, convince him to stay. And then it's really if Manchester United can somehow convince him, I guess, with maybe more money. But if Spurs, if there is a genuine offer on the table from Spurs, then it's quite possible that it would be a decent offer, but it may not be as big an offer as what Manchester United could afford right now, because we do need to bring in some players, and he's a free, so he represents quite good value. So maybe in terms of if he just wants the most wages, I think he probably will get the most wages at Manchester United. If he wants the most game time, then he goes to Brentford. If he wants to go get a good mixture of things and go somewhere where they've got Champions League football, then he will go to Spurs, won't he, and have that familiarity of where he's gone. So, I mean, I can't predict. Usually they call me Mystic Pig because I predict these things, but I can't actually predict where he's going to go. I personally think Spurs is probably the most likely outcome just because he's got that history and relationship. But if the role that they're offering him in the squad is not as big of the role as he wants, he might well look to stay at Brentford, or he might even consider going to Manchester United if there's a bit of a meteor role for him in the squad. So it really does depend. Patrick Sholton says, what a team. 200 million budget, says BSG. Right, yeah, we're going to get into that stuff in a little bit, guys, actually. Hey, Simple Jack Live, I hope you're good today as well. Thanks for getting in, mate. He says, boom, boom, boom. 254 legends watching, guys. Smash that thumbs up button if you haven't done so. Help us get to 200 likes on this stream tonight. And if you're new to this channel, take a second to hit the subscribe button and get involved with your thoughts and opinions about anything we're discussing here, folks. We want to hear all your thoughts and opinions in the chat, so do have your say. Westy says, to be honest, I don't want De Jong on Man United. He wouldn't work well with our midfielders. Good. Get these shit current midfielders we've got other fucking club, mate. You know what I'm saying? I said current, not the C word there, by the way. But either applies. Just sounded in my head like I called him a proper see you next Tuesday. But either way, I didn't. I meant current. But either way, it applies to this fucking minge bag of a midfield. No, good. I'm glad that De Jong doesn't work well with the midfielders we've got at the moment, mate. You know why? Because they're shit. And we need to get them out of the football club. That's the whole point of this. We're replacing this guff midfield that we've got with good midfielders this summer because they're crap. That's the whole point of it, mate. You know, I don't care if he works well with Scotty McTominay or fucking, plus, hang on a sec. We've only gone and got a perfect partner for him coming back off loan, who's been at Everton the last part of this season. Guess what? What's his name? Donny van der Beek. That's right. You forgot about him, didn't you? That's that whole Dutch combo connection there. Maybe those two are just ready-made to play for each other right now. And anyway, I still hope we would get another midfielder as well as Frenkie de Jong. But look, in all fairness, sorry, no, and I'm just joking. But really, that midfield we got now is so bad. It doesn't bother me if any of those guys are sold or moved on. In all fairness, it might sound harsh, but Scott McTominay, as much as he's got a bit of passion and character-wise, he's right for United. Technicality-wise, I don't think he is good enough for Manchester United. And Fred, I love his attitude, I love his effort levels. But again, is he really truly good enough for United? Maybe he has a squad player as a backup. I don't want to see Fred go, to be fair. He had a decent sort of a season, did okay what was asked of him, but it's just bang average, guys. This is the whole point of buying these new players, to improve upon what we've got and changing a certain style of play. And anyway, who knows how these teams going to play under Ten Hag? It depends on the style. New managers just come in, new guys coming in, new players are coming in. He's going to have a whole new coaching strategy. He's going to have whole new tactics, whole new approach, whole new way of playing. So, you know, I really don't even think it necessarily applies. But hey, fair play. Freddie is the only midfielder I can believe in, to be honest. Yeah, must play. That's because he really gives it his all every single game he goes out there, you know. BSG says Zlatan is the youngest striker on the market. He's still great, mate. He's still absolutely fantastic. Nothing wrong with him. But anyway, I was just going to ask the chat. So we were talking about Christian Eriksen. I don't know how I got sidetracked there. But let's just talk about Christian Eriksen for a second. So he's got the choice of a few different clubs. Let's say Man United, Spurs and Brentford. More game time at Brentford. Maybe somewhere in the middle in terms of squad rotation at Manchester United as well. No Champions League football, but, you know, big club, of course, big money, maybe the most money he can get. Or going back to Spurs, familiar surroundings, Champions League football, maybe slightly more of a bit part. What do you guys think? Where does he go? Where do you envisage that this guy ends up this summer? Christian Eriksen, does he go to United? Does he go to Spurs? Does he go to Brentford? Does he go to somewhere else? Let us know what your thoughts and opinions are. I personally think he probably goes to Spurs. Sadly, I mean, I really hope that he comes to United because I think he's a class player. Berber says he left Spurs on bad terms, didn't he? I may be wrong. I can't really remember, in all fairness. I mean, he went to Inter, didn't he, after? But I can't really remember now. But I think it's water under the bridge, really, in those terms. They got a new manager in. I mean, it could be a totally different, you know, different vibe. Called a vibe. Could be a totally different vibe there now, obviously. It is a totally different vibe, so... Spurs, says Madhouse. So I still think he would have that, you know, that want to go back there because look, even, I can't even remember if that was the case or not, to be fair. Kieran says Spurs, Elliot says Spurs, Lynette says United, Peter says Spurs. Man United could pay more money. Patrick Shelton says don't worry and Man United is happy. I don't know, mate. I mean, I do worry about Man United because we haven't done anything so far this window. And are we happy? Are we happy about Man United being shite? No, mate, we're not. Definitely Spurs, says Westy. Spurs, says Cockney Red. Hey there, Cockney Red. Spuds, says Johan. Spuds, says Kevin. Oh, it's sad, isn't it, folks? Yeah, I think you're all right, though, to be honest. If I was him, you look at, you know, we actually saw some quotes from him the other day, which said that he's pretty much easy on making a decision. He's going to take a bit of time, have a bit of a holiday, chill. And he also said that he would like to play for a Champions League football team. But it's not essential, is what he said. So, okay, that's cool, you know. But if there's an offer on the table from Spurs who do have Champions League football, he might rather go and jump at the chance for playing for them. So we don't have Champions League football right now, so we can't offer him that, guys. Anyway, just wanted to mention it because Eriksen is one of the players that could be coming to Manchester United, but again, he could quite easily go to one of these other clubs. Just how bad would it be if Man United lose out on all our targets this summer, folks, to other teams? Eriksen goes to Spurs, Ruben Neves goes to Arsenal, Tielemans goes to fucking Arsenal or wherever, you know, and Darwin Núñez went to Liverpool. It would just be an absolute joke. They've got to start pulling their finger out and doing some bloody business. Let's talk about it then, guys. Let's get into this. So, actually, before I get onto the Richard Arnold stuff, we've got some Richard Arnold stuff to talk about, which we're going to get into just in a moment. But before I do, let's just get into the chat for a second, see what you guys have got to say about this transfer malarkeys with Eriksen and De Jong. Let's not move on too quickly. Let's give you a chance to respond to what I've said here. I'm just here flapping my gums. Hey, we got 135 likes on the stream. Come on, get in. Almost at 150. Thank you very much for the super chat here there, Peter Abate, mate. Nice one. Let's get a sue in the chat for the man. He says, Pig, did you hear about Arnold and fans at the pub today? There was supposed to be a protest at his house. Arnold said the money is there. Peter Abate, you're almost an absolute legend in terms of segue timing. You know what I mean? Because we're going to go on to that in just a second, mate. Spot on. I will cover that in just a second. Thank you so much for your super chat there, mate. And yes, I'll give you all the info on that in a moment and let everybody know. You've probably seen a bit of it anyway. Hey, no worries, Scouser on the Wirral, mate. Good to have you in here, though. Must Play says, Pig, it doesn't have to be bad, but we should try to sign more unknown talents, too. Not just the big names. Fair one, okay. Yeah, well, I think we are looking at that lad from Derby, aren't we? That teenage forward who could maybe come in. So we are sort of doing that a little bit, but also, you know, we can promote some of the youth players from within, which we should absolutely do. Why didn't we sell Pogba, Lingard, Matamasio, etc. last summer? Just don't get it. Yeah, true. Well, maybe they're all sort of priced out the market. Nobody wanted them because they're on such big money, dude. maybe they weren't prepared to buy players this year. But you are right. Shocking planning from the you know the board and all the previous regime. Okay, let's get into the next bit of news then, folks. So I've got some info on this Richard Arnold stuff. We actually have a super chat, though, from Vicious Bin Men. So before I move on, I'll read that. Super chat. And he says, why would you want Eriksen? He'd sit on the bench and stop youth players from developing. As a Liverpool fan, I do want you to get better. Maybe 3-0. Vicious Bin Men, I'd like you to get better too, mate, and maybe win more than one Premier League title in 30 years, bud. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd like you to maybe not bottle it out in the Champions League final, my son. These are the things that I'd like you to do also. But anyway, Vicious Bin Men, he says, why would you want Eriksen? I'll tell you why we want Eriksen, because he's a class player, and he's not going to stop any youngsters from getting through, really, because, let's face it, we had 3 sort of players that can play in the position that Eriksen can leave in the summer, 3 senior players. You know, we're not going to replace all of them. Mata has gone. You've also seen, Lingard go. Pogba's gone. You know, these guys have all gone. So we do need to bolster options and bolster all the different positions in the squad. I hear what you're saying. You could give a youth player a chance, but is that actually going to be what we need right now? You have to have a good balance and a good blend of youth and experience within a team, I think. I think that has to be said. And you don't just want to have to rely on a kid to do the job this season. We want to have some strength in depth. So, yes, I think we do have to bring some youngsters through, but it's important for us to go out there and sign some quality. That's why we're going to go and get De Jong for 80 million euros or somewhere around about there instead of, you know, giving the opportunity to young Jimmy Garner. It's not that Jimmy Garner's not a good player and doesn't have great potential. He's a really young guy who's not as developed. He's not as ready. He's not as experienced. He's not as, you know, far ahead or as cool or as, just as... can handle the pressure and all that sort of stuff as somebody like Frenkie de Jong, who's been up there at the top doing it for years. That's the difference, mate. You can't really put a price on experience because it's gained from doing it and being there and putting in the time and work and going the distance. That is why we want players who are a little bit more further along in quality. So I hear what you're saying. We do need to bring youth players through, but we also have to have the right balance and sign some good players, especially like Christian Eriksen, who's a very good technical player. If you think about how Ten Hag might want to play, it makes sense to get someone like that who's got a bit of techers, you know? Send Games, he says, I'm so happy Pogba will never play for United again. Oh, me too, bro. I know, absolutely fantastic. Although, you know, go forward into, I don't know, the summer of 2025 here now for a second, Send Games. You know, Jose Mourinho is back at the club. And Manchester United signed Paul Pogba back because Jose and Pogba have rekindled their relationship now, because what happens is in about 6 months' time is Jose goes from Roma and gets the Juve job, and then they make a bromance. They make up after all those years of arguing and hating each other. They make up, and then all of a sudden they're best mates. And then Jose comes back to the club after Ten Hag in a couple of years, and then Pogba signs for him again, and history repeats itself, mate. And then in another 3 years after that, he goes back to Juventus. I don't know. But, you know, it sounds crazy that that's already happened. The fact that he already left Man United on a free, went to Juventus, came back to Manchester United for 89 million money, and then went back to Juventus again on a free. That already blows my mind. But anyway, yeah, pretty ridiculous. Like, I'm so glad he's not here anymore. I agree with you, dude. But anyway, right, let's just cover a little bit about this thing, guys. So Richard Arnold, folks, let's discuss it. Some may say, let's discuss it. So you can see, so Richard Arnold, there's some video that's gone around. I can't play the video because it's not mine, but there is some video going around that says, you know, we've got Richard, I've got all the quotes from him, which we'll get through in a second. But what's happened is there was a supporters group, I think it's the 1958, who basically had a planned protest to like go to Richard Arnold's gaff outside his house and protest about the lack of movement in the transfer window, and also just the fact that the Glazers are shithouses and Glazers out and get these toss pots out and all the rest of it, right? And so maybe as some sort of a preemptive strike, Richard Arnold, the CEO of Manchester United, went to the pub where these people were meeting and spoke to the fans directly, and gave his thoughts and opinions and talked to the fans and just tried to diffuse the situation a little bit, right? So let's cover what was said. Thank you, by the way. Thanks for subscribing. Haha, you're salty. Appreciate you hitting the subscribe button. If you're new, do what haha, you're salty's done there and hit that subscribe button. Your name will flash up here if you are have your public stuff on. If not, then it won't. But anyway, thank you very much for hitting that subscribe button, bro. Yeah, and please do drop the like as you're getting in here. It boosts us up on the YouTube algorithm, helps us compete with the clickbait merchants, the shithouses, and the corporation channels. So please do smash that thumbs up button if you haven't done so, and smash that subscribe if you're new. Okay, let's get back into it then. So Richard Arnold, CEO of Manchester United, went to the pub, had a few pints, and talked United with the fans. So what did he say then, folks? Well, he said, I'm not thrilled where we are. It doesn't sit easy with me. But what's happened is that we've fucking burned through cash. Going in there raw. So a couple of things that he said then. So, he said that John Murtow is working from 6 in the morning until 10 at night trying to get the Frenkie de Jong deal done. So we do have, reports that is going on. Let's have a look at this as well. So Richard Arnold, when asked about Frenkie de Jong, he said, do you want me to buy in players? Doesn't that ring a bell? So obviously referencing Ed Woodward and the previous regime, we obviously want to let our recruitment team do the recruiting and that sort of thing is what he's insinuating here. Because, when asked about the lack of movement in the transfer window. But, he's still got some sort of classic. In one way, you have to commend this sort of behaviour because it's more than poxy potato-headed Ed Woodward ever did, right? It's go and meet face-to-face with the fans in that sort of scenario, right? So you got to appreciate the sort of the directness, the salt of the earth nature of that. Of course you do. But at the same time, is it just more PR guff, guys? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like it's just a little bit of PR guff. And, if you hear what some of the other stuff he said, apparently he said things like, there's actually a video of it, but he said the thing he kept saying was the attacking sponsors and investors is damaging the club. So what the 58 group of protesters against the Glazers ownership are doing is working. So essentially, he met fans today and a source said that, he kept saying that because of the, like the 1958 group, the sponsored investors group, they've been targeting people like Adidas and different sponsors of Manchester United and stuff to try and discourage them from wanting to invest in the club and to sponsor the club and for the Glazers to not make as much money from these commercial deals. Because it's one thing for the fans to vote in their droves by not going to games or not buying merch, but the lion's share of money that is generated in this club is from TV rights deals and also things like sponsorship and commercial deals, right? So that's what's going on there, guys, and they're trying to unsteady the ship there, really, and make the Glazers' position a little bit less tenable and want them to maybe move on, which is absolutely spot on if you ask me. Hey, thank you, Kanye, for the super chat, mate. He says, I'm going to let you finish. Mate, thank you, Kanye. Guys, can we get some Sues in the chat there for Kanye? Appreciate that, bro. Okay, thank you for letting me finish. I'll finish. You're a legend, bro. Let's get some Sues in there. Okay, so yeah, and we actually have a source that was close to, that was actually there. So Gary Deakin on Twitter, we got some information here. He's tweeted a whole series of tweets about it. And he said, to set the story straight, we met with Richard Arnold today after plans to go and protest outside his house got out and somehow got back to him. Brackets, rats. So he came down the pub where we were all meeting before going to his, which is also his local. He goes on, he gave us a heavily scripted speech, which none of us fell for. He said his hands are tied because he's not getting the investment he needs to make Man United great again. He was like another Neil Ashton full of PR nonsense. What he said not so many words, is that attacking the sponsors affects the money he needs. And that if it carries on the Glazers, have to put their hands in their own pockets, brackets, no chance of that. He is there to run Manchester United as a business, not a football club. So the sponsors getting angry at him and affecting his job is something he was trying to put a stop to. If and when we get new owners, he knows full well he wouldn't be the CEO. Why the fuck would we have a Liverpool fan CEO from a rugby background, not football? He tried and failed miserably to make us feel sorry for him. To summarise, he isn't a good guy. Anyway, he's just forgetting us a few beers. He's a multi-millionaire. He says he's against the dividends and doesn't agree with them being taken. He does generally want the best for the club, but his hands are tied, and new owners /protest /sponsor bashing just makes his job harder and obsolete. So, I mean, look, of course they don't want these issues going on in regards to sponsors being targeted because it's going to affect the amount of money that the Glazers can make. Yeah, it does affect the amount of money that the football club can make as well, and therefore can invest and therefore can, do better. But it doesn't seem like the money we've spent recently has been spent well. We spent £1 billion over the last decade, and we've barely got anything back for it. I mean, he knows the situation because, you can see from that there that we've got here, guys, about, he says, I'm not thrilled where we are. It doesn't sit easy with me. We've burned through cash, he says. We've absolutely burned through cash. And that's what's gone on. So, yeah, okay, he might have met with fans today to diffuse this situation. But it does sound like more PR guff to me, guys. I'm going to be honest. That's my view on it. Some people may say, he's salted the earth for going down there and it's more than what Woody's done. And I appreciate that. And I really do. But at the same time, this actions speak louder than words in regards to Man United this window and in regards to the Glazers ownership and how we're going about approaching this football club and trying to get back on track and win things. So the proof will be in the pudding. I'm not interested in hearing this piss poor list of ingredients anymore. I just want to taste the cake. And if that cake tastes like absolute shite, then the chef is going to get slapped round the chops, And if that cake tastes absolutely brilliant by the end of the window, then that's absolutely fine. Hopefully we'll have a good season then. We can have a nice party. But that's not going to happen unless they do their jobs. That's all they've got to do, as Roy Keane would say. Just do your job. They've got to do their job on this one and recruit the players we need and just stop talking. Stop talking on this. Stop talking about it. We need actions. And understand it, he's not the, the recruitment guy, but he's trying to diffuse the situation here and suggest that we shouldn't be trying to target the sponsors. Well, in a way, I'm not being funny, guys, but hashtag Glazers out. And the only way you're going to get the Glazers out is to make their profitability at the football club as limited as possible. It's a fat, juicy cash cow for them. Don't feel sorry for the shitty Glazers. Don't feel sorry for shitty Richard Arnold, my son. No disrespect to him, he's just come in, right? It's not his fault this is necessarily in the situation it's in, right? But I'm just saying, don't feel sorry for these tosspots. Feel sorry for the fans who are getting stitched up with lackluster, second-rate football at Manchester United when we should be one of the greatest teams in the world because of just simply the support around the world alone and how big a club this is. So, don't feel sorry for them. Glazers out. Fuck those guys. Whichever which way you can make this position as untenable for them as possible, i.e. limit the funds they're making from sponsorship revenue. Stop. I'm sorry to say, yes, it is going to hurt this football club. And we talked about it. Nobody wants to see Man United shackled. Nobody wants to see us lose sponsors, lose money, lose players. Nobody wants to see us do that. But if it means in the short term, that's what it takes in order to get these toss bags out of this football club. I'm sure most of us would take a season or two of a little bit of a complete turmoil and dropping off and things going bad if it meant that those tosspots sold the club. So, and the instance they did sell the club and a new owner came in, I think because it's just simply this being the greatest supporter club in the land, that this club would instantly go back to actually being a top football club again. So, any which way it can be done, guys. I don't give a toss about all this Glazer PR nonsense. I think it's just to try and cover the wool over our eyes about how shit and incompetent they are in this current transfer window and how terrible they are in their dealings. That's my belief on it. You may think that's a little bit of a pessimistic or negative view to take, but I just don't, this isn't a positive for me. Anyway, okay, so yeah, Richard Arnold's been speaking, and it's very, it's clear he's frustrated as well. He's only just come in. He knows that situation. He says they're doing everything they can to sell Frenkie de Jong. He also said that he's unhappy with the way that £1 billion has been burnt over the past 10 years on players, and that he also said that money is available this summer. He also discussed bringing in investors for the stadium and the new training ground. And some reports say, I haven't seen a clip personally, but some suggest that he did say there could be as much as 200 million available and that the money's there and it's not a problem. And I did watch a little bit about it actually, where he said, it's not as simple as that. They've obviously got to get stuff sorted out behind the scenes, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. So, what can you say? It's just some fucking Glazer PR guff, if you ask me. Tim Watkins says Arnold can go to hell. Exactly. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, guys. That's what I'll go back to. It's all well and good for this to be happening, for him to be saying these things and trying to reassure the fans, but it's just words. It's all just words. We've heard people speak and flap their gums at Man United for years now, and I personally just don't think that we've started this transfer window well. We need to have more ambition. We'll find out in the next couple of weeks if they really do have the ambition and they're going to have a good transfer window or not, because at the moment it's looking pathetic. Also, just in regards to what on Phil Jones. So he was asked about Phil Jones, and he reportedly said that person is no longer at the club. So this is he asked about the criticism of why the hell did we sign up Phil Jones to a 4-year contract in 2019? What's that all about? Ridiculous, And he said, that person is no longer at the club. I can't change what has been done. I can only tell you that things will change. So, okay, nice. So I guess he's referring to Ed Woodward there, the previous chief exec who's fucking sharted the bed all over the place with signings and recruitments and decisions. I can only imagine that's the previous regime, of course, that he's mentioning. So Richard Arnold just says that he can only tell you that things will change. Do you believe him, guys? Smash a 1 in the live chat if you believe him. Smash a 2 if you don't believe him. Let's find out. Smash your 1 if you believe him. Smash a 2 if you don't believe him. I just see him as being another Glazer shithouse, to be honest. I mean, he can't be any worse than the last guy, right? But it's more sort of wanky, sort of bankery type people, mate, that I personally don't think, really had the best interest of the club. I think it's kind of all to do with making the Glazers money. That's my opinion. Lots of 2s coming in the live chat. 1 says Nick Knack. 1 says Lynette Giggs. 2s to 2 says Dutch Christ. 1.5 benefit the doubt. Fair play, Stephen. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, fair enough. It's one of those, isn't it? It's a bit of PR stuff. But hopefully what he's saying is true. He's confirmed that there is money available for Frenkie de Jong. Oh shit, what's this? Oh, whoops. He's confirmed that there is money available for Frenkie. He said, when asked about it, he said, do you want me buying the players? Doesn't that ring a bell? But he also said, where's the quotes? I've got it here. He said, we are doing everything we can to get Frenkie de Jong, and I'm telling you, the money is there for him. So pretty clear quote from him there, from Richard Arnold, that Man United are trying to work on this guy, and so well we should be, getting this guy in. But there you go, guys. I just thought I'd mention it because it's obviously quite hot news this evening. It's a little bit different, a little bit strange to see, the CEO go down and just get the pints in, get swearing, get drinking with the fans like that. Fair play. I mean, that is refreshing, guys. I don't want to be totally negative about it. He seems an upgrade from the previous Melt. That's all I know, right? Okay, he does seem an upgrade. But Man United has got so much work to do. And these guys behind the scenes, the likes of Murtaugh and, of course, Arnold and these guys, they've got a lot of work to do, folks. And we're going to measure them based on the work. We're not going to measure them on how good they can talk. We've had enough about how, hearing about what they're going to do. And they need to actually just do it now. Crikey, we've got 372 legends watching tonight, guys. Thank you all for being here. Guys, smash that like button if you're just joining us. Also, we're on here every night giving you the latest transfer news updates in a no bullshit, no clickbait, no guff way. That's the way we do it around here. We give you the latest goings on in a clear fashion with no old done deal bullshit, no hysteria nonsense. So if you enjoy this show, make sure you support this channel by dropping that big thumbs up on this video, hit the like and smash that subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notified. Follow us up on Insta, Facebook, Twitter and all that stuff as well at Flying Pig United. Right, let's get into it then. Let's get into some of the rest of the things we've got, and then I'm going to get on to the Q&A and stuff for you guys and just do a quick rundown of what we discussed. So just in regards to a couple of other teams, a report came out a couple of hours ago that City are planning to hold talks directly with Leeds United for Calvin Phillips, who is another target for Manchester United. This is according to Fabrizio Romano. So it's possible Manchester City plan for the midfield includes Rodri's new contract to be discussed by the end of the year. New midfielder will also join City this summer. Calvin Phillips is still top of the list. Just direct talks will take place soon. So it does seem like, what really frustrates me, guys? I tweeted it out this morning, actually, but, Man United finished 35 points off of Manchester City. We are miles behind the top team in the league, who are our rivals. And they've already signed Haaland, and they're already working on players like, Cucurella and a couple other players like this guy, maybe. So everybody else is striving to continuously improve. even though they've won, they are still continuously striving to improve. Man United, even though we finished 6th, only seem to be continually striving to meander and fanny around and just do the bare minimum in order to generate the cash for the Glazers. That's all we actually are really doing. It's quite disgusting, really, what we're witnessing, but it's not much we can really do until they go, until we perhaps get a new owner in, and but that's the reality. But anyway, so City in for a bit of business, maybe with Leeds for a target for United, which was Calvin Phillips. He wouldn't come to United anyway because he's a proper Leeds scummer through and through. Also, just a couple of little things about this. Ruben Neves is also being reported as maybe taking on a new deal, a new contract at Wolves. So it depends, doesn't it? I mean, there's some reports that have come out that say Neves could opt to pen a fresh deal at Wolves if transfers and things like that don't go well elsewhere. I mean, he's still in a development stage. I mean, is anybody going to come in for Ruben Neves at United, United or Arsenal, if he's like 60 or 70 or 80 million? I don't necessarily think so. I think the price would have to be right. They've got no intention of accepting any offers below like 50 or 60 million, that's for sure. So, would there be teams prepared to pay? We should absolutely be prepared to pay, but it's also possible he could pen a new bigger money contract at Wolves if they're prepared to commit to the future. So that's the story that's come out this evening. Just want to mention it. Not going to dwell on it. Hopefully Ruben Neves is a target for United, because imagine if we could get De Jong and Neves, or De Jong and Tielemans, or Tielemans and Neves, or something like that. Some sort of combination. We'd be very, very good in the midfield then. But very, very interesting anyway in regards to what's going to happen with Neves. There's so many teams that are linked to him. Will he be going to Barca? Will he be going to Arsenal? Will he be going to United? Will he be staying at Wolves? Not too sure in regards to what happens to Neves. Also, we've got a report from the Times that Alejandro Garnacho is set to sign a new contract very shortly at Manchester United also. So just a bit of news on the wonder kid Alejandro Garnacho. Not happening. Sorry, says Jose Bravo. Yeah, Neves / Tielemans with De Jong, says Raja Malaysia. Could you imagine that? Imagine if they actually had the ambition and did that. Right, I'm going to give a quick rundown of what we've discussed in this video tonight then, folks, so far. We're going to have a big Q&A as well. I want to hear all your thoughts and opinions of the legends in the chat, but just very quickly. So to start with, just quickly on De Jong, if you're just getting in the stream, you want to know the situation there. It's basically more of the same old shite, guys. It's at the same stage. Report from the Athletic this morning said that the Frenkie de Jong situation, Barcelona insist they now don't have to sell players after they've agreed a financial deal. So I think they've sold off some assets or some rights or something. They've got some more money from somewhere now, a couple of 100 million or something, apparently, depending on which article you read. And maybe they don't have to, sell off players just so much as they were thinking about a couple of weeks ago, because they've restructured some finances. That's what's being reported. So who knows? This could all just be PR guff. But anyway, Man United still expect to sign De Jong in the coming weeks. Clubs are about 10 to 15 million euros apart. Ten Hag's feeling frustrated at the speed of this deal. Makes sense, doesn't it? Because we're not doing anything at all. And we do believe that it can ultimately happen. But, this is what Laurie Whitwell said. We'll have to wait and see. I still think it can happen, but there's still also ways that it falls down. Eriksen and De Jong in midfield, says Papa Smurf. Could well be. I would like to think that we could go and get another midfielder if we're going to play a couple in a pivot, but it depends how. It really does actually depend how he's going to play with Manchester United. We don't truly know. Right, also, Richard Arnold has been in the pub. Of course, we're only just speaking about this, but he's just been talking to the fans. There was a protest that was planned outside his house. He's going to speak to them to try and defuse the situation, essentially. And he's also been quoted as saying a few things. Also, just to take a moment, I mean, he has met with fans here, and fans have secretly recorded this conversation, so you can go and watch it, But fans have secretly recorded this conversation, so in one way, it's a little bit of a crossing of the boundary of trust there. But in another way, well, it's the public domain. We want to know these things, so good on you for recording this stuff. It's pretty interesting stuff. So, yeah, he's just said a few things like in regards to Phil Jones, he said it was down to the previous regime, what gave him a new contract. He said he's not thrilled that where they are and the fact that they spent £1 billion over the last 10 years and how much cash they've blown through. So, he's aware of the situation, guys. But he also said that he doesn't think that the way that the supporters groups and fans of the club are attacking sponsors and investors of the football club, like Adidas, etc., is the right way to go, because it's affecting the ability for them to do their jobs properly. But ultimately, the whole idea is to create a little bit of a not a very nice environment for them in terms of earning money. So, you can't have the best of both worlds here. Either give us what we want, have the ambition, sign the players, spend the money correctly as well, and give us success. Or, I'm sorry, but you're gonna be getting serious protests and to get these guys out of the club because they're terrible owners. Simple as that. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much it. There's not really that much transfer news, folks. Oh, and the Christian Eriksen, he's still considering the situation as well in regards to where he could go. Spurs, United. It's just so poor this window, guys. I'm done talking about it already. There's very little to really celebrate at the moment for United. We know a lot of other teams are doing business. There's lots of other teams capable of getting transfers done, and big transfers too, and very, very good signings that we would have taken. So Tottenham side for Basuma for £25 million, I think it was a decent price deal for the guy. We've seen people like Arnold go to City. Of course, Darwin Núñez go to Liverpool. We're incapable at the moment. Hey, Big Ben, what's going on? You absolute fucking legend. I hope you're good, pal. Charlie Anthony, mate, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. Super chat. Super Charlie Anthony. Thank you, Charlie. Says Ten Hag needs to start delivering some stone cold stunners. And that's the bottom line, because Charlie Anthony said so. Mate, thank you so much. Guys, can we get a hell yeah in the live chat, please? Thank you very much, Charlie. Mate, he does look like the Dutch Stone Cold Steve Austin, bro. I can just see him like in the, what I envisage on his first day when he's coming out of Old Trafford in that game against Rayo Vallecano, right? It's just, you got the tunnel, right? You got the tunnel, yeah. The glass breaks and the music comes in, and it's just Stone Cold Steve Austin music. You got the 360 and the glass shatters, and out walks Ten Hag leading the team out. How fucking epic would that be, man? Hell yeah. Thank you for the hell yeahs, everyone. Nice one, Pogo Gamer. Nathan Phelps, shout out to you, bro. Playlist account, how's you? So many legends getting in here. Rushmano says Eriksen is free to sign from the 1st of July. Nice one. Yeah, so he said he's basically just mulling things over at the moment. He's on holiday. He's vacationing. Yeah. Also, we got a little report from Dharmesh Chef, which has come out this evening as well, folks, just this evening, when he's asked about speaking, I believe it may, not too sure where it was, but he was speaking in regards to Anthony, and he said that I think it was being interviewed by Give Me Sport, actually, or something like that, but he says, keep an eye on that one, that Anthony one has got legs. So, I mean, look, we know there's interest from Man United in Ajax players like Anthony and Timber, but it's about United getting the deals done, and so far, all we've seen them is dawdle around. I'm going to get into the live chat now, everybody, so let's have a Q&A. Thank you to all of you for being here. Another bit of non-news from United today. No new signings, no new players come in. Just another day of inactivity in the transfer window. Absolute piss-poor guff. But that's the way the cookie crumbles when you've got a piss-poor run football club with gash owners. Let's get into the chat then. Let's have your say, folks. I'm going to stick around for a good 5 minutes or so. So let's be having you. Exactly, Nanette Giggs, monitoring FC. Hey there, Marky Harris. What's going on, you handsome bastardo? Hope you're good, mate. Happy Australia Day. Poco Gamer says, hashtag Glazers out. Tumbleweed FC, says Andy Ferguson. So true, mate. We are so slow at anything we're doing, boss. It's such a shame. Pogo Gamer says, get the old Glazers out in there. Spot on. Always get those green and gold emojis raining down. Hey there, Rick. What's going on, buddy? He says, if you knew it would take 8 weeks to sign De Jong, would you rather have signed Neves and Basuma for the same price? Yes. That might be a bit short-sighted, but you just said 2 players as well, to be fair. If we could have got Basuma and Neves, hell yeah, that would have been amazing, mate, especially right near the start of the window. I don't see how that's a drawback. No, De Jong's got some drawbacks. For a start, he's not got Premier League experience. Secondly, his dad said he doesn't like the weather. Thirdly, he wants to stay at Barcelona, which is his dream club. Fourthly, we know that he wants Champions League football, which Man United don't have. There's a few drawbacks with the De Jong situation. He's also on big money, and he's going to cost a huge amount of money. Those are 2 big drawbacks in itself. Yes, there is going to be a late night FIFA stream this evening, Ricardo. It's not going to be a long one, though, because I'm absolutely mattered, shattered, dudes. I'm not too bad, Daniel Lees. All good, mate. All good. You're from Bury, are you? Fair play. Oh, shit. So hang on a sec. So you're a different Mark Harris. Oh, sorry, Mark Harris. Sorry, I just saw Mark Harris. I thought that was like an alt account for Mark Harris, but it's not. Burby, you legend. Ellie, you legend. How are you guys doing? Get in there. Thank you for joining us this evening. Hope you're having a great night, guys. UK Nation PS4 Gamer says, hi, Pig, and everyone in this awesome chat. Welcome in, bud. Welcome in. How are you going? What's your thoughts on this gash window? Naz says we're linked with David Round, Piggy. Latest player to be linked. Oh, yeah, Naz786. Thank you so much for letting me know about that, because I've actually forgot to talk about that. I've got a bit of news about this. It's actually from Mr. Matty Rushmano, a.k.a. transfers_UT do, who's got a bit of source of, great source of information about this as well. And you're right, he sent me some info through earlier, mate. Let me just try to find it now. For some reason, I've not put it in my tabs there. But yeah, okay, so United have entered the race to sign Hoffenheim left-back David Raum. He would cost approximately 40 million euros. This is reported by Sky Sports in Germany and also Bild. So, there could be some basis to it. It's quite interesting. I mean, we're going to have to see players like Tellez leave the football club, but I could see that happening. He's just another player that's linked to United at the moment. Whether or not we could really, truly get this guy in is another question. But apparently we have entered the race to bring him in because he's not going for a huge amount of money. He is only 24. He does seem like the sort of player that, would be a good signing because he's getting better and, on the back of a good season. But don't know a great deal about him. He's in my FIFA team, though, and he's a baller. But other than that, I'm not too sure about him. But, it's good, man. If we could sign this guy, great. If we're going to restructure some things and sell on maybe Tellez. Tellez is okay, he's good going forward, good offensively. Can't defend to save his life, unfortunately. So it would make sense to get somebody else in one of these fullback positions who can give us some options. I'm with you, though, ZX Flames. We need a right back. So maybe this is looking at an alternative, possibly, though, to somebody like Timber. Timber, what I like about him, he's versatile. He can play centre-back. He can play right-back. So I would have preferred him in a lot of ways because he's younger as well. But this guy is being linked anyway. You prefer Eriksen, says Westy. Most definitely would be nice to bring him in. Emir says, do you think that Ralph Rangnick was the best thing that happened to us in terms of saying that what we all need to think of needing a whole new team, but the board just couldn't wait to bin him? Yeah, that's why they sacked him, bro. I think you're absolutely right. I think that is why they sacked him off, dude. It's quite simply because he was too real for them, mate, and he said it how it was, and they don't want somebody that's in the hierarchy of the football club who's quite so loose-lipped when it comes to saying things exactly how they are. One thing you can say about Ralph Rangnick is he said it how it is. He said we needed 10 new players, and I do believe that is the case. But they don't want somebody that's openly prepared to say that sort of stuff in the public eye because they don't want to spend money like we need to. They don't want to do that. So they were quite happy to part ways with Rangnick. So it's a terrible decision, that, guys, to stop having that consultancy with Ralph Rangnick, because that's the whole point of him coming in as interim. What an absolute debacle and a farce that whole period of time was in the end. Shocking stuff. And he turned out to be just too real for them, man. Just goes to show you the sort of shit asses we got in the club. Bastards, mate. Every single one of them, right? Anyway, sacking Ralph was a bad idea. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't the right coach for us, but to actually, be the sort of person to help out and advise us in things to make the football club better, he could have been good. Yeah, Amy Evans, we talked about that a bit earlier on, actually, during some news about Jurien Timber in regards to wanting first team assurances so he can get in the Netherlands team. ZX Fring says, Ralph was awful realistic. Nothing but a Glazer puppet. Got asked a question about signings and he said our squad was perfect, says ZX Flames. What do you mean? I mean, maybe near this. I can't really remember him saying that, to be honest, ZX Flames. What I remember is Ralph saying, we don't have the players are gash, and we need 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 new players. I remember him saying stuff like that. I'm not too sure. I can't really remember him saying stuff like that, in all fairness. I remember him back in Harry Maguire and saying some puppetry things like that, some Glazer puppetry type stuff like that. So, can't really say. Okay. Amy Evans says, boom, we got to believe. Ralph was good, says Lynette Giggs. Yeah, I mean, behind the scenes, he could have been very good for United. Such a thing as a right coach with some of the team, to be honest, as SA. Fair point, the players are just so bad, they need to be removed and replaced. What's going on there, Manic Laugh? Chris Barker says, what have I missed, Pig? Any decent news? Nah. Just same old shit, bud. David Round to United says Asher Katana. There is some news. There is some links about that, as we've discussed. Yep. There's some links about that. But look, we'll have to see. It's reported by Bild and Sky Sports in Germany that we are in for David Raum. So we could be in for him, but, whether or not we're capable of getting this deal done, any time we're linked with a player now, folks, I just take it with a pinch of salt because I know what United are like. Look at that Vitinha deal. There's a lot of PR deals. There's a lot of teams. There's a lot of agents. There's a lot of wankers who are just using United for leverage. So it's understood George Mendes was using Manchester United for leverage with PSG for Vitinha, stuff like that. It's I don't believe anything until we're at advanced stages, really. Ryan Perry says, blame the Glazers for the shambles we are in, for taking endless amounts of cash out of the club. Need big changes. Loads of players need to come in. However, discipline in the team is needed first. Great comment, mate. Yeah, I agree with you entirely. The Glazers are the biggest issue here, my friend. Anybody FC? It's true, mate. We are Monitor FC. UK Nation says Glazers will let United sell players, but not by any new players. Then United won't be a team no more. It's scary to think like that, says UK Nation PS4 Gamer. Maybe. I still think they're going to sign players this summer, guys, because they have to. Imagine if they didn't sign any players this season. There would be an absolute riot on their hands. Nice one, Rush Mano. He says we got 250 likes, guys, on the stream. That's pretty awesome. Do us a mad favor, everybody. Please do hit that thumbs up. See if you can help us get to 250. Nice. Okay, so Kevin Cater says Ferguson in. Naz says, thanks for the update. No worries, Naz786. Appreciate you do. We will be back on a bit later on with a FIFA episode tonight, guys. We are going to do that. Thank you, Ricardo Dos Santos. He says, like Spike, let's go. We'll only believe when I see signing pictures. Precisely. When they're stood there holding the shirt with the manager, that's when we'll believe it. Thank you subscribing there, Mr. Mahanito Mohan. Nice one, bro. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. If you guys are new, hit the sub up. Help us get to 58.2 thousand subscribers, guys. We're on our way to 60,000 subscribers. So make sure you hit that subscribe if you're new. Beauty from Pain, you absolute long-time legend as well. She says, pig in. Yeah, well, I couldn't do a worse job than some of these shithouses, in all fairness. No worries, UK Nation PS4 says, thanks for reading my comments. No worries, man. I'm sorry if I missed anybody else's comments. Try to read as many comments as we can, in all fairness. You feel like going to America to shoot in the cans. You hear me, bro, says Pogo. Well, steady on. Steady on, mate. Steady on. Philip Chapman says, if things don't change, we'll be mid-table melters next season, says Philip Chapman. Things got to change, mate. Something's got to give. Otherwise, you're right. We'll just continue this shite. Ronaldo FC says Cockney Red. Yeah, will be unless we sign some players. Definitely Manic Laugh. Just shows we're not a football club, just a commercial company. Yeah, they didn't want to hear the real talk. He was supposed to come in to advise them on football matters. So how did they have a problem with his advice on football matters? That's what they got him for. They just didn't like his advice, which was we need 10 new players. Big up yourself, Liam Grogan. Thank you, mate. Big up UK Nation. Big up there, Adewale. Lynette Giggs as well. You think Monday first signing? I think about a week. I do try to read the most comments there, Rushman. Absolutely. 60k subs, not bad. Thank you, Nick Knack. Yeah, we're on our way. Thank you, Chris Parker says, most chat engaging creator on YouTube. Love to the pig. Thank you, bro. I'll try. It's getting harder. And he says, yeah, not sure what you mean, Mark. Oh, what's going on there? I don't know. I'll let you guys chat that out. Imit says, what is Fellaini up to? We will end up with him again, aren't we? I don't know, mate. No, he's had his powers diminished now. He's had his haircut, dude. He's like Samson, that guy. He's shit now, mate. Does Martial have a future with United, says Rick? Yeah, I guess so, because he's probably going to be a backup for Ronaldo this season, maybe. But I can't imagine we'd actually want to keep him if there's an offer that comes in. Indeed, there. Thank you, Sibo Super. Thank you, Pogo Gamer. Mark Harris. Thank you so much, Pogo Gamer. SA, Rushmano, Dutch Christ, Pogo Gamer, Ellie as well, and everybody. Oh, hang on. What's this? We've got something come through very quickly. Oh, thank you, Rushy. Oh, okay. So we've got some quotes from Gerard Romero, the guy who's close to this deal in Barcelona. And there's just something that's come out this evening that says, in May, when I said Barca and United were going close to the Frenkie deal, it affected the club and the player, and the process stalled a bit. I believe if I didn't spread the word, maybe Frenkie would have joined by now. All right, okay. All right, nice one. Fair enough. Maybe so. Well, maybe you shouldn't fucking report stuff then, out of turn then, my son. Right, nice one, guys. Thank you, Rushy. We're going to wrap this video up, but thank you, everyone. Rushy, Dutch Christ, Pogo, Jim Watkins, Ellie, Marky Harris, TikTok, Camfu, Madhouse, Ellie, Pogo. We're 2 likes away from 250, guys. That is immense. Thank you, everyone, for dropping that like and showing your support. It does mean a lot to us, and it helps the channel out no end. So thank you for liking the show. We'll be back on in about 45 minutes with a FIFA show, guys. Not going to be the longest tonight, because I'm pretty shagged out. Man, I need to get a drink as well. I'm dehydrated. But great show. Thank you, Rushmano. Yeah, not too bad considering there's not all that much going on. I enjoyed chatting with you legends. Thank you, Super Gooner. Have a good one. Lynette Giggs, Ellie, of course, Lynette Giggs, Madhouse, ZX Flames, SA, Chris Parker, Manic, Pogo, Reaper, Berber, Elliot, Rick, Batman, Westy, Rushy, Wiggy, Vooty, Solskjaer, and all the legends of the channel. Have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. That's the end of the Man United news. Back in about 45 minutes for FIFA, so keep yourself locked for that. Look out for the notification. Click the little bell icon. If you haven't done so, it's the one that looked like Ed Woodward's face. Click the little bell icon, and that way you'll get notified when we post and go live. Also, make sure you smash that subscribe button. That's the red one that says subscribe. And like before you go. And follow us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch at Flying Pig United. Thanks for watching, guys. That's the end of the news. If I didn't respond to you, or if you want to come back and get your thoughts and opinions about anything we've discussed, please do after this video is finished in the not live comments. Let us know your thoughts on anything we've literally discussed there. Richard, Arnold, Frankie, anything else, guys. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Charlie, David, Nova, Chris Parker, Rushy, Lynette, Kieran, Ellie, Sub2, Amit, David Brooks, Adewale, Vooty, Chonny, Rushy, Nova, and all the rest of you legends. That's it from me. Back in a bit. Have a good one. Sort yourselves out, United. You're an absolute disgrace. Too slow, too much fanning around, too much hoity-toity, namby-pamby fanning going on from the recruitment team and the board. Just get some poxy deals done now. See you soon, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one. And I'll catch you on the next one. Come on, you bastards!